The Wallowa Lake Monster is a creature said to live in Wallowa Lake, Oregon. It is described as being between 8 and 20 feet long, with a hump-shaped body. According to a local legend from the Nespelem tribes, during a war between the Nespelem and Blackfeet tribes, the daughter of the Nespelem chief fell in love with the son of the Blackfeet chief.
It's easy to dismiss what we call myths, what we call legends, until you've actually witnessed it yourself.
One night, the couple took a canoe from the Nespelem camp and paddled out onto the lake. When the rival tribes learned of their actions, they set out to pursue them. The monster then emerged from the lake and attacked, killing everyone in the canoe. To this day, the Nespelem people avoid the lake. An article published in the local newspaper on November 5, 1885, recounted a local resident's encounter with the monster. A prospector, who chose to remain unnamed, was traveling from the south end of the lake one evening in a ski. Around dusk, when he was about halfway to the lake, he saw an animal roughly 50 yards to the right of the boat. The creature raised its head and neck out of the water, about 10 to 12 feet above the surface. Upon noticing him, it immediately dove underwater. He paused, looking around in disbelief at the strange sight. The creature then reappeared on the left side, raised its head, and emitted a low bellow, similar to that of a cow. It also brought its body to the surface, which the prospector estimated to be around 100 feet in length. The creature glided along for several hundred yards. Though it was too dark to clearly see the animal, the prospector described its head as large and fat, resembling a hippopotamus. The neck, about 10 feet long, was as thick as a man's body. While this story may have been a product of the narrator's imagination, his detailed account is noteworthy. It's also well known that there's an Indian tradition about a large sea cow inhabiting the lake. According to this tradition, a sea cow once surfaced one evening and swallowed a young warrior and his bride as they paddled across the lake in a canoe. Since then, no member of the tribes who once visited the lake's shores will go near its waters. The lake has been measured to a depth of 270 feet, and it's quite possible that some kind of creature inhabits its unexplored depths. Very few sightings have been reported since then. In 1932, 2 locals claimed to have seen the creature, describing it as being longer than their 11-foot boat. Irene Wiggin, a resident near the lake, said she saw the creature numerous times between 1945 and 1983. She described the monster's head as large and black, resembling that of a hog, and estimated that it weighed several hundred pounds. In 1950, 3 people reported seeing 2 monsters feeding on fish, one measuring 16 feet long and the other 8 feet long. In 1978, a couple claimed to have spotted the creature twice. Initially, they saw 3 humps break the lake's surface. Later, they observed a snake-like creature approximately 20 feet long, circling a section of the lake for several minutes. In 1981, 2 men also claimed to have seen the monster. Varberg Fortress, built between 1287 and 1300 by Count Nelson to protect against a Danish king, features a moat that is said to be home to a small lake monster. In August 2006, 2 witnesses reported seeing a creature emerge from the dark waters and consume a dark object. The creature was described as brown, furless, and having a 40-centimeter-long tail. Other witnesses also came forward, and the sightings were covered by local media. The moat is believed to be connected to the sea, and the reports quickly gained attention in national media, prompting many people to investigate. Visibility in the murky water was limited, and investigators used microphones and divers to search for the creature. However, no conclusive evidence was found, and skeptics suggested the creature could have been a seal, large pike, or catfish that made its way into the moat. While some attribute the sightings to a seal or pike, others argue it could be a genuine sea monster. The Seal Rock sea monster is said to inhabit Seal Rock, Oregon. In June 1935, a group of local residents reported seeing two giant sea serpents after hearing unusual sounds from nearby sea lions. Upon investigation, they saw a massive animal, dark brown and 40 to 60 feet long, with a head 3 feet wide and 5 feet long. The creature played in the surf for about half an hour before heading south. Its head was described as being the size of a man's and at least 3 feet wide. A second serpent was sighted shortly after, but it didn't create much of a stir. Eventually, both creatures disappeared. Some have speculated that the sighting was a hoax designed to attract tourism to the area. On August 10, 1817, a strange creature was spotted in the harbor of Gloucester, Massachusetts, with reports spreading across New England. General David Humphrey, a former member of George Washington's staff, traveled to Gloucester to interview witnesses. Based on the gathered testimony, the creature's head, which was visible above the water, resembled a turtle's head and was larger than any dog's head. From this head, a prong or spear extended about 12 inches tall and 6 inches in circumference at the base, tapering to a small point. In a collection of sightings published in the Boston Weekly Messenger, it was further stated that the creature measured 60 to 70 feet in length and was as wide as a barrel. All efforts to kill or capture the creature, including shooting it with a musket at close range, proved unsuccessful. On August 18, 1817, the Linnean Society of New England formed a special committee to gather evidence about the creature's existence and appearance. This committee soon released a pamphlet claiming that the sightings represented the discovery of an entirely new genus. However, the pamphlet was met with mockery and prompted the creation of numerous fake accounts of the creature. Despite this, some took the reports seriously. Jacob wrote an essay about the creature for Benjamin Silman's American Journal of Science and Arts. Interest in sea serpents peaked in America when mass sightings of a serpent off the coast of Nahant occurred in 1819. Recently, a drone captured footage of what appears to be the Loch Ness Monster off the coast. The creature is visible beneath the clear blue water, and its size is so vast that it initially looks like a wave. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that it's a massive creature moving under the surface. Could this be a sea monster? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Wallowa Lake Monster is an aquatic cryptid said to live in the small Alaskan fishing village of Iliamna. Native stories tell of a large creature roaming the waters. There have been many reported sightings, along with a few claims of deaths caused by the creature. Over time, it has attracted enough attention to lead the Animal Planet show River Monsters to investigate what might be lurking beneath the lake's waters. The monster is described as being between 10 and 30 feet long with a square-like head, which it uses to deliver blunt force to objects like small bones. While there is no physical evidence to confirm the creature's existence, many reports suggest otherwise. The lake, described by Ivant T. Anderson, is not considered a lake at all, but is actually an island. Located in the southwestern part of Alaska, covering more than 1,000 square miles, it is the largest lake in Alaska and one of the largest in the country. The lake spans 77 miles at its longest and reaches a maximum width of about 22 miles. Its deepest point is 988 feet, with an average depth of 144 feet. Situated roughly 50 feet above sea level, the lake is primarily accessible by air due to its remote location in Alaska. Float planes are the most common means of access, as they can land directly on the lake's surface. There are no roads connecting the lake's communities to the surrounding areas. The region around the lake is sparsely populated, with fishing and hunting being the area's main economic activities. The first reports of a monster inhabiting the lake came from the native people, who spoke of a creature known as the Gad. This creature was described as a large, aquatic animal with a head and tail resembling a wolf's and a body similar to that of an orca. The gad was believed to be a fish god, and depictions of it were recorded in pictographs found along the Alaskan and British Columbian coasts. Other early reports came from the native Aleut people, who referred to the creature as the Janak. These fish-like monsters were said to travel in groups, and were known to attack canoes and kill warriors. The Aleut people feared the creatures and did not hunt them, which sparked curiosity among others. As pilots and fishermen began flying low over the lake to catch a glimpse of these mysterious monsters, more sightings were reported. By the late 1950s, consistent accounts of large, dull, aluminum-colored fish began circulating. The subject gained significant attention, and in 1979, the Anchorage Daily News, the state's main newspaper, offered a reward of $100,000 to anyone who could provide definitive proof of the fish's existence. To this day, no such evidence has been presented, and sightings have diminished in recent years. The mystery of sea monsters has persisted for centuries, and while many of these creatures have never been proven to exist, the fascination with them continues to grip our imaginations. Reports of monstrous sea creatures from all corners of the globe reveal similar characteristics: large, unidentifiable, and often terrifying beings that seem to appear from the depths of the oceans and lakes, leaving behind only questions and unsettling feelings. But what is it about these creatures that captivates us so deeply? Many people believe that sea monsters are nothing more than myth and superstition, stories passed down from generation to generation to explain the unknown. After all, it's easy to dismiss these accounts when there is little or no physical evidence to support them. Yet, despite the lack of tangible proof, sightings of strange creatures in the water continue to surface. In fact, in recent years, there have been numerous reports of strange aquatic creatures, some of which are startlingly similar to descriptions of sea monsters from centuries past. Could these creatures be remnants of a bygone era, surviving undetected in the vast, unexplored areas of the ocean? Or is it possible that the true nature of these monsters remains beyond our understanding? One of the most fascinating aspects of these creatures is their ability to elude scientific discovery. The ocean is vast, and much of it remains unexplored, with new species being discovered regularly. It's entirely possible that some of these creatures could exist in the deep, dark trenches of the ocean, areas that are far too dangerous and inaccessible for humans to reach. Just think about it. If there are still parts of the ocean we know little about, who's to say there isn't something lurking in its depths that we haven't yet encountered? Let's take a closer look at some of these ongoing reports of sea monsters. One particularly strange case occurred off the coast of Norway, where locals reported seeing a giant creature in the waters of a fjord. Descriptions varied, but many said the creature had a long serpentine body, much like the legendary Loch Ness Monster. Some claimed that it had a large, bulbous head, while others described it as having sharp, glistening teeth. Whatever it was, people said it was massive, too large to be a typical fish or mammal. This creature was never conclusively identified, and no physical evidence was found. But the fact that so many people saw the same thing in different parts of the fjord only adds to the mystery. In other parts of the world, there have been reports of similar creatures. In the Mediterranean, fishermen have told stories of an enormous sea serpent that has been spotted by numerous vessels. This creature is said to rise from the water with a long, undulating body, its massive size dwarfing the boats that come too close. The fishermen speak of a strange, eerie silence that falls over the area just before the creature emerges from the depths. It is as if the very sea holds its breath in anticipation of the monster's arrival. Again, no one has been able to prove the existence of such a creature, but the accounts continue to surface. And it's not just in remote corners of the world where these creatures are spotted. Even in more populated areas, like the waters off the coast of California, people have claimed to see strange and unexplained things in the water. One particularly disturbing incident occurred in the late 1980s when a group of tourists aboard a boat on a whale-watching tour claimed to have seen a giant, tentacled creature rise from the water. The creature reportedly had large, leathery arms that appeared to be searching for something. The tourists were understandably frightened, and although the boat captain initially tried to brush it off as a giant squid or some other known sea creature, the passengers were not so easily convinced. They described the creature as something far too large to be any known species of squid. Even more bizarre, there have been reports from deep-sea divers who have claimed to see creatures that seem to defy explanation. These divers, who explore the deepest and darkest parts of the ocean, have encountered creatures with characteristics that simply don't fit with anything we currently know. One diver in particular recalled seeing a massive eel-like creature that had large glowing eyes and an elongated segmented body. The creature reportedly slithered through the water like an eel, but it was much larger. Some say over 30 feet long. When the diver tried to approach the creature, it disappeared into the depths, leaving the diver shaken and bewildered. Of course, it's easy to dismiss these stories as the result of overactive imaginations or misidentified animals. After all, the ocean is home to a variety of creatures that we don't fully understand. But some of these reports are strikingly similar to one another, suggesting that there may be something more to these accounts than simple imagination. One of the most intriguing aspects of these sightings is the way they often coincide with one another. In many cases, multiple people, often from different locations, have reported seeing the same or similar creatures at roughly the same time. This raises the question, are these people just coincidentally imagining the same thing? Or is there a real, physical creature out there that is being seen by multiple witnesses? The sheer number of these sightings is hard to ignore. Now, let's think about the possibility of undiscovered sea monsters existing in remote regions of the ocean. As we've mentioned, a lot of the ocean is still unexplored. In fact, we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean floor. This fact alone opens up the possibility that there are creatures living in the depths of the ocean that we have yet to discover. Could these creatures be the monsters that people have been seeing? Scientists have long speculated that there could be massive, undiscovered creatures lurking in the deep. One theory is that these creatures are related to prehistoric animals that have survived in the remote, uncharted areas of the ocean. Some researchers believe that the oceans could be home to creatures that have been around since the time of the dinosaurs, creatures that have evolved in isolation and adapted to the harsh conditions of the deep ocean. These creatures might be so different from anything we've ever seen that they don't fit into any of the categories we currently use to classify animals. Other scientists believe that these creatures could be completely new types of organisms, ones that have never been seen before, and may not fit into any of our current biological classifications. The deep sea is home to strange, alien-like creatures that have evolved in ways that are difficult to understand. Why couldn't some of these creatures be the sea monsters we've been hearing about for centuries? Regardless of whether these creatures exist or not, there is one thing that is certain. The mystery of sea monsters continues to fascinate us. Whether we believe in them or not, the idea of these creatures lurking beneath the waves stirs our imagination and keeps us wondering what might be out there, hidden just below the surface. The ocean is a vast, mysterious place, and who knows what secrets it might hold? One thing is for sure. If these creatures are out there, they are keeping their distance, hiding in the depths where no one can find them. But that doesn't stop us from dreaming about them, does it? So, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this.